Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are MC.
The Royals have lost two heartbreakers in the first two games of this series with Seattle. Now they must turn the page and trust their 23-year-old rookie, Yordano Ventura, to get them back on the winning track. It's the Royals and Mariners next. Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Today at the K, it's the final game of this three-game series between the Mariners and the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. Steve Physiak, Rex Adler with you. The Royals have lost the first two games of this series and now hand the baseball to a 23-year-old rookie named Yordano Ventura. And 1 month ago, Ventura came down with discomfort in his right elbow. They skipped a start. Since that time, he's been remarkable, and the team went on a 15-win and 19-game stretch.
That's because he has renewed confidence that he's healthy. They went ahead and inspected the whole entire elbow. It looks great. So when you already have three pitches, you have tremendous stuff with all three of them. Look at that hammer. He's got the goods. No question about it. Last three starts, he's been nails. And when you have Salvador Perez, the youngest, greatest signal caller there is in baseball, behind you and is the architect of it, you trust your stuff. That's what Dave Island wants. Keep it down, and hopefully that offense can come around and get him some run support, and they can get back in the win column.
Ventura will be tested because on the other side is a young pitcher for Seattle named Roenis Elias. He's out of Cuba, 6-5 record, has a complete game shutout this year. He'll be tough.
He will be. However, every pitcher you face in this game is tough, Biz. They just got to get it done.
Elias for Seattle, Ventura for Kansas City. Esky and the Royals go for the W as Kansas City tries to avoid the sweep by the Seattle Mariners. Coming your way next.
Danny Valencia will be in at third base today. Been out since June 1st with a right hand injury. Was 3 for 11 with a homer in his rehab at AAA Omaha. And so Joel Goldberg back here at Kauffman Stadium. It's been a thin bench for the Royals, but Lewis Coleman goes back down to the minors, and Valencia is here getting the nod against the left-hander Roenis Elias today. As for the Royals, struggling lately, and no excuses for them. They've just been in a little bit of a slump. But one thing that Ned Yost wants to really keep an eye on is this heat and keeping his players healthy.
It's very tough playing when it's this hot. You know, guys, they got to make sure that they hydrate properly and that they get their rest and they eat right, because this weather really, day after day after day, really saps your strength. So you got to be able to make sure you're doing everything you need to do to go out and compete for 9 innings.
That is the challenge for any team playing in this kind of weather this time of year. Yordano Ventura is set to take on the Mariners for the third time in his career. First pitch is coming up next from the K. to their lineup. It is the right-hander. Danny Valencia will be in at third base today. Been out since June 1st with a right hand injury. Was 3 for 11 with a homer in his rehab at AAA Omaha. And so Joel Goldberg back here at Kauffman Stadium. It's been a thin bench for the Royals, but Lewis Coleman goes back down to the minors, and Valencia is here getting the nod against the left-hander Roenis Elias today. As for the Royals, struggling lately, and no excuses for them. They've just been in a little bit of a slump. But one thing that Ned Yost wants to really keep an eye on is this heat and keeping his players healthy.
It's very tough playing when it's this hot. You know, guys, they got to make sure that they hydrate properly and that they get their rest and they eat right, because this weather really, day after day after day, really saps your strength. So you got to be able to, make sure you're doing everything you need to do to go out and compete for 9 innings.
That is the challenge for any team playing in this kind of weather this time of year. Yordano Ventura is set to take on the Mariners for the 3rd time in his career. First pitch is coming up next from the K.
Royals baseball is brought to you by Chevrolet. Come in and visit the Kansas City area Chevy dealers and make your move to Chevrolet today. By the Missouri Lottery, try the new Lucky Sevens playbook, and by AT&T, mobilizing your world. It's Bark at the Park Day here at the K. A lot of dogs with their owners at the yard. Another good Sunday afternoon crowd on hand at the K for the Royals and the Mariners. Lloyd McClendon is the manager for Seattle. Seattle's last sweep in Kansas City was May 2007. This is the lineup he'll send out today. Chavez to lead things off. James Jones has been a major thorn in the side of Kansas City, not only here, but back in Seattle. Cano goes third, then Morrison, Seager, Zunino, Ackley, Miller, and Willie Bloomquist. Our starting pitcher, brought to you by Kia, is Yordano Ventura, making his 14th start of the season.
Well, it's up to Yordano Ventura to set the tone with that fastball. He likes to come out early with that hard fastball, and it's anywhere from 90 to 100. He's learning how to use less is more. He's not putting everything into every fastball. Bringing in the secondary pitches are really special. His overhand curve, it's a 12-6 break, and he's got an exceptional changeup that he'll throw almost 20% of the time. He's got good confidence with it. Defending behind him, Valencia's back at third base. Hopefully that wrist is 100% so he can turn and burn off of that left-hander that's going today. But Lorenzo Cain back in center field. Anything out there with any air underneath it, he'll catch it. Nice to see Valencia back. Hopefully he can contribute.
Danny has made one error this year, and as you know, he missed 19 games because of a muscle strain in his left hand. Went down to Omaha, rehab for 3 games, and back for this one. He has been very good throughout his career against left-handers, hitting .326 against southpaws, and he'll go up against Elias, a very fine left-handed pitcher for the Mariners. Our umpires this afternoon, Jeff Nelson, who's the crew chief, will be behind the plate calling balls and strikes. Laz Diaz at first base, Marcus Patillo at second base, and Scott Barry at third. The Royals come into this game with a record of 39-35. They're a game and a half back of Detroit. The Tigers have won 3 in a row, while the Royals have lost 3 straight.
Indy Chavez, a veteran guy. In his first start against the Royals here in this series, he got a big double to lead off the game. He hits the ball to the opposite field, usually where it's pitched, but we'll see if Ventura can come in on him and jam him.
He gets strike 1 across, and we told you in the open that Yordano has pitched very well, giving up just 6 runs his last 3 starts against very good offenses in the Cardinals, the Indians, and the Tigers. A 2.7 ERA against those 3 clubs. In the air center field, Cain there. He'll pull it down for out number 1.
And there was the inside fastball.
Ned Yost talked about how he is resting guys with this hot weather finally arriving in Kansas City. 90 degrees today, high humidity. The winds out of the southwest at 9 miles an hour will help the right-handed bats.
Not a heavy breeze. And even though the weather is hot as it is, baseball players love it this way. It's important that Ned continues to gauge the temperature, though, of his guys. But just watching Ventura, how free and easy is that? Hardly any effort with his body to let go of that lethal fastball. It's just fun to watch him pitch. He's so smooth. It can be deceptive with that because all 3 of his pitches come out of the same arm slot. Typically, fastballs early in the count and first time through the order anyway, to see how the hitters gauge their swing on it. There's the hammer.
1 ball, 2 strikes against a guy who has hurt the Royals this year, James Jones, also a rookie. He is 7 for 16 against Kansas City, and 5 of those hits in this series, and Ventura strikes him out.
Ventura, he looks like he's just playing catch. It's amazing how he can generate that type of arm speed with lack of body effort. hero growing up was the great Pedro Martinez. And Pedro, we saw him pitch in his day, and he used a lot of max effort with his body to generate that good fastball he had. Now, the only thing different between his hero and Ventura is the exceptional changeup that Pedro Martinez had. It's going to take Ventura a little bit more time to establish that good pitch.
Well, he makes quick work of the Mariners in the first inning. Barely breaks a sweat, throwing 6 pitches, 5 of them strikes, and gets the Mariners in order. This hot weather arriving, he's going to have to rest some players, so he'll go with a lineup that moves Lorenzo Cain up to the very top. And Lorenzo will lead things off. He'll be followed by Omar Infante, then Eric Hosmer, Billy Butler, and Alex Gordon. Salvador Perez eventually, maybe tomorrow, is going to need some time off.
Yeah, he'll pick his spots to give him a little bit of rest, but really, Salvador Perez, from his native Venezuela, is used to this kind of weather. It's like this every day in Venezuela. So these guys really love the weather. They just need a break from the day-to-day grind, mostly mental.
Roenis Elias will be the pitcher for Seattle, 6-5 overall. He tossed a shutout against the American League Central champion Tigers back on June 1st, and opponents not dealing very well with his curveball.
Yeah, you know, his curveball is a very nice pitch. It's a hammer, a lot like Ventura's, except from the left side. The Royals have hit .246 off left-handers on the season, and their record is 11-8 off of left-handed starters.
He is 1 inch taller than the Royals' right-hander Ventura. Goes 6'1", 190, 25 years of age, out of Cuba, facing Lorenzo Cain, batting .315.
He's got a live fastball, 90 to 95, big curve, and a changeup he'll throw to righties.
Starts out 2 balls, no strikes.
Wait him out, be patient, get him in the strike zone.
Royals only had 3 hits yesterday in their loss, and they all came in that 5th inning when they scored their run. Kansas City has lost 7-5 and 2-1. Away 3-0. Elias.
I was going to say, Elias, he's won 3 of his last 4 starts in June with a 3.67, so he's on kind of a roll. His team has won 7 of his last 11.
He pitched very well in his last start, Hud. That was a 6-1 win over San Diego. Allowed just a 2nd inning home run to Rene Rivera. And it's the 5th time this year he's tossed at least 7 innings. Only gave up 3 hits and 1 run.
Make him throw another strike.
Well, that was a strike.
And he was all over it. Now, he has given up 8 home runs to right-handed batters. Elias has this year, .237 average. Been pretty stingy to the lefties, .206 with just 3 homers. We're seeing this afternoon 2 really nice, bright, young pitchers. Staying away from any injuries at all. These guys got a chance to stay in the game a long time with their great stuff.
Breaking ball misses in, so the Royals get their leadoff man Lorenzo Cain on.
One of the reasons the Mariners are doing so well is that their team defense has been super behind them. Last 5 games they're air free. Seager's a good third baseman. Miller's coming on. The mighty Bloomquist at second base. He's a veteran. And Zunino, along with Salvador Perez, 2 of the most powerful catchers in baseball, both of them with 8 home runs.
Omar Infante having a tough time against Seattle pitching. He is 0 for 5 in this series with 5 strikeouts, and he goes after the first pitch and skies one to right field. Andy Chavez is there for the first out.
A little bit surprised we've seen Infante swing at the first pitch he's seen the whole day. And it's good when you get a hit, but when you don't, now you're starting over again. He's a veteran. He knows it. He knows what he's doing out there. But one of the things about Elias that's been so good is that he's induced 14 double plays this year. That's 4th in the American League. So he might have give up a few fly balls, but he's been good at getting him to hitting the ground balls when he needs them.
Cain has 6 steals this year. Hosmer takes a first pitch strike, and this is a guy the Royals really would like to see start taking off offensively. He's their number 3 hitter, but only 3 for 22 his last 5 games, and only hitting just over 190 the last 6 weeks of the season. That one is hit well. James Jones going back, reaches up and makes the catch. Cain has to turn and head back to first base.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Billy had his 10-game hit streak snapped yesterday, was hitting .474 to up to his average over .280, and then that 0 for 4 brought him back down to .278. So important to the Royals offense in the middle of their order. Elias goes to first and Cain back easily.
Billy is picking up his average against left-handers. He's hit .270 now. Still hasn't homered against the lefty.
They go that way again. The Royals did drop out of first place in stolen bases. They're tied for second now with 55, and they have not stolen a bag in this series.
Gonna have to get that running game jump started again, especially these close games.
A walk and 3 flyouts. 2 to right, 1 to center. First inning is over. blue is Erin Lucky from Lake Quivira, Kansas. She was the winner of the Sprint Family Suite. Way to go, Erin.
And thanks for your answers to our questions. They look happy.
Well, here is our Sprint Family question of the day. It was Bark at the Park. Everybody had a chance to bring their dogs. So the question is animal related. Which animal related player nickname in baseball is your favorite? Would it be Kevin Ape Apier, Rich Goose Gossage, Jim Catfish Hunter, Whitey White Rat Herzog? Text ABCD to 432-432.
How about the crime dog, Fred McGriff? How come he didn't make the list?
Or Mike Moose Stockus.
There you go. I like them all. Nicknames are a part of the game.
Rex the Wonder Dog Huddler.
Nah, that's way down the list.
Hey, it's Bark at the Park, and you're going to be barking for the next 3 hours. Our fans have to put up with it.
Just pat me on the back once in a while, Piz.
I've got your treats in my pocket.
Thank you. Hopefully the treat is Ventura. As long as he continues to hit his spots with Salvador Perez, he'll be tough to hit.
He is facing Logan Morrison, who grew up in the Kansas City suburbs. Just barely low. 3 balls and 1 strike. Morrison has only walked 4 times this year, but he's only played a little more than a month because of injuries at the start of the season. Hitting 184 since coming off the disabled list and 172 overall. Hit a big home run in their Friday win. And that ball is inside ball 4. The Royals starting pitchers have been able to control Kyle Seager's now coming to the plate for much of this series, and he has been either protecting Robinson Cano or hitting in the 5 spot like today. Good power numbers, 10 home runs, leads the club in RBIs with 47. But only 2 hits and 16 at bats on this road trip to San Diego, and Kansas City tries the bunt. Ventura will go to first, 1 out, sacrifice executed perfectly, and Ventura now must take on the catcher Mike Zunino.
It's a nice play, even though Seager, he's got some pop. 10 home runs. So really, you'll just take that, get the out. He probably did that on his own. I don't think Lloyd McClendon gave him the sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, that's your top power guy on the team, but he does move him into scoring position. And Elias hasn't given up many runs in this month. 1 in his last outing to San Diego. And the Royals, after their 10-game win streak where they averaged almost 7 runs per game, have scored a total of 7 runs in these 3 losses.
But in Ventura's last 3 starts, they've given him 18 runs of support. Hopefully that offense will come through.
Hosmer, nice play, tagging at second, but bluffing the move is Logan Morrison, and there's 2 out.
Hosmer corrals it. Look where he was. Zunino saying rats. Ackley 1 for 4 in his career against Ventura. That one was a homer.
And last night he had the game-winning hit in that key 9th inning off of Jason Vargas, who had pitched so well. Ned Yost left him out there. We all thought he should. Vargas was still pitching well, but a play that was not made by Siriaco, and then a real great at bat by Ackley, who took a low and end pitch and drilled it to right field for the go-ahead.
And listening to Ned Yost's comments after the game, you know, he talked about how, you know, it's a difficult situation. If it works, you're great. If it doesn't, you're the dumbest guy in the ballpark. I disagree with that. You know, you have to take chances sometimes. And when you got a veteran guy like Vargas up there, you're going to stay with him. That was nothing dumb about that at all. Ned's a smart guy. He's on the conservative side as a manager, but he's got a great feel for the game. And had that play been made behind him, they go back into that dugout with a tie game, it could have been a different story. So Ned did the right thing.
Now a 2-2 count to Dustin Ackley. That game you talked about where he hit a home run off of Yordano Ventura. He also hit one later in the game. His first 2 home run game this year. And he fouls off that pitch.
I just saw a huge lightning bolt. Oh, this back way beyond center field. Little thunderstorm shower in the forecast later. Doesn't look like anything real heavy, but hopefully it's moving away from the K.
Well, the winds are out of the southwest, so they should be. And there's a line drive caught by Infante. That denies the Mariners a run in the second. Nice play.
Defense saves runs every day in the game.
Bring you the MTP of the game, the most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda. Alex Gordon yesterday broke up Chris Young's perfect game, leading off the 5th with this bomb to right.
Well, you can believe that Elias will be looking at that spot and trying to stay away from that nitro zone. Very nice, easy swing from Alex.
Gordon was 2 for 3 off Elias back in Seattle in early May. And there is strike 1. Alex with a 5-game hit streak to get his batting average up over 290.
241 hitter with 4 bombs against lefties.
Nine for his last 21 during that 5-game hit streak with a couple of home runs.
Zunino happy with that location. They're trying to stay away from Alex. You can tell by where the catcher's setting up is where they want to go. Now, does the ball always get there? Hitters sit on a half-inch mistake, maybe an inch to a mistake. That's all it takes.
Not only the batting average has improved, but his plate discipline. He is walking more at the plate, letting the really tough pitches on the corners go. Sends this one foul, and the count is full 3-2. Elias walked the leadoff batter in the first inning, Kane, on a 3-2 count.
31 walks for Alex this year, and that's by far the most on the team. So plate selection has been one of the reasons he's able to find his spots when it's down the middle. You want to take pitches that are not in your pitch, and you make that pitcher come up in the zone. Make him throw you a strike.
Alex goes gap right center field. He gets a base hit, and his hit streak is now at 6 consecutive games. Hey fans, it's time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag KCFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast, brought to you by AT&T.
Yep, that's the whole key to hitting. Make that pitcher throw you a strike, and strikes are easier to put in play. Now, for this guy, Salvi, he's a pretty good bad ball hitter. He'll take pitches 2-3 inches off the outside part of the plate and drive them to right center.
And you wonder if the Royals might put something on, because Elias gets a lot of ground ball outs. He has induced 14 double plays this year. That's 4th most in the American League. Salvi, though, rips it up the middle. 2 on, nobody out, bottom of the second.
One of the things that stands out offensively with this Royals ball club is the way they frenzy hit. Lots of times, one hit will get them going. It's pitched to Alex Gordon right down the middle of the plate. They got it. Sometimes you get those down the middle and you miss them. But so far in this inning here, both guys have made solid contact.
Now Danny Valencia will be up with the Royals with 2 on, nobody out. Danny was rehabbing down at Omaha in the last 3 games, had 3 hits and 11 at bats, one of them a home run. But his appearance back with the Royals not only helps out the team on the field, but also their bench. They can either bring a bat like Mike Moustakas or Danny Valencia off the bench.
Firm fastball right down the middle. Nice to see the Royals average as a team in runners with scoring position at 274. That's second best in the AL. See if they can continue. You just hope that Valencia's wrist is 100%. He feels good, but until he gets in a big league ball game and gets in game speed, he won't know until he swings. It's different than batting practice. Game speed is a whole different ball game.
He tried to grind his way through that pain last time in May when we were out with the Angels. Hurt his hand on a swing, continued, got a double in that at bat, but had to come out. That is low into the dirt. Good block by Zunino. This is a flashback to when he hurt that hand, and it was on a foul ball, but he stayed in the game and does this. When he slid into second base, he knew there was some kind of problem and had to come out.
Hands are so important to baseball players. If you got anything wrong with your hands, you're in trouble.
That hit, though, led to the go-ahead run. The Royals would win it in extra innings over the Angels. And, of course, the Angels will be here on the end of this homestand next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The count 3-1. Great hitters count for Valencia. Justin Maxwell waiting his turn on deck. Three and two.
The great Frank Robinson. I'm with the Orioles. He's the bench coach there back in 1986. And I slipped in between the bases and went back to catch my fall, and I popped the ligament off my thumb. No one knew it. I kept going. I kept playing. And the next day, I told Frank that, and he goes, "Son, you better get that fixed. If you're a ball player, you don't have your hands, you're not 100%, you're in trouble. You better take care of your injuries in your hands." Sure enough, little thumb surgery.
Danny to center field, but right at James Jones. Gordon is going to tag and go. Throw by Jones will be cut off. So Alex took a chance trying to get to third, where now a fly ball can give the Royals the early lead.
Did you say take a chance? That's what you've got to do in baseball sometimes. And with nobody out, he did take one. Jones with a good throw, but he was flat-footed. See, he didn't have any momentum coming in. He gets back on that ball, and he gets 2 or 3 steps coming in. He's got a different story. He's going to miss the cutoff man and try to get him. Alex Gordon's got extreme skills. Blows a bubble while he's in slide. I asked him about that skill. He said he doesn't even know he's doing it.
Maxwell. Jones comes on.
It'll be a tester.
Makes the catch. Gordon coming home. Here's the throw to the plate. Alex is safe.
Again, Jones caught it flat-footed. That's 2 throws in a row now that he didn't have any momentum on a throw. Okay, he had to stop here, so he really didn't get a good read on that fly ball. It's the first lead the Royals have had in this series.
1-0 on Justin Maxwell's sacrifice fly, his 3rd RBI of the year. And now Alcides Escobar is up. He has 1 hit in 7 at-bats in this series. He had a big hit off of Elias back on May 11th. It was Mother's Day, and Esky took him deep with the bases loaded. His first career grand slam.
Ouch.
Way inside. Ooh. And Elias hits Escobar.
It's breaking ball.
Boy, that was painful for even you.
I remember, Fizz. Once you've been hit by that rock, you never forget it. Except when you're in the heat of battle. Never let the opponent know he hurt you. Don't dare rub it. Just sprint on down, but it's hard to hide this. His little shin burger here. So I yelled for him. That's what hitters do. I've heard hitters yell ouch before it even hit them. Yeah, because it's coming at you. You can't get out of the way of it.
Well, Rick Waits, the pitching coach, coming out to try and settle down his young rookie Elias, who's worked himself into trouble here in the 2nd inning. Allowed a run on a sacrifice fly, but now the hit batter gets Perez into scoring position, and Sal is just looking around to see where the outfielders were positioned, just in case a ball is struck to them, and he might be able to score from second base on a well-placed single.
Got that right. How about a .377 hitter with runners in scoring position? That's what Lorenzo Cain possesses. It's a nice mark.
30 RBIs in his last 180 at bats. Strike 1.
This confident young hitter, emerging as a rising star as a center fielder in Major League Baseball. Not only with his glove, but with his bat. He's getting some timely hits.
Oh, and 2. Nedio said Lorenzo has great hand-eye coordination. He reminded him a little bit of Andrew Jones with that short, compact swing, but he said he's still learning how to hit and how to hit in certain situations. Tried to stay inside with that fastball and comes too far inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
tough one to lay off of. Hitters like those inside, and that's what Lorenzo Cain has been looking for. Something in, he can drive. But with 2 strikes, anything close, put the ball in play. Never know what can happen.
But Elias strikes him out on a 1-2 count. The Royals do score a run on Justin Maxwell's sacrifice fly, scoring Alex Gordon from third.
That's an all-star going to work right there. Look at those skills.
Royals fans come out to the K this Tuesday when the Dodgers come to town for the 4th installment of T-Shirt Tuesday. The first 10,000 fans through the gates will receive a limited edition Royal Blue KC T-shirt presented by Metropolitan Community College. Gates open at 5:30, so get there early. For tickets, go to Royals.com/T-Shirt Tuesday or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Well, Rex, for years, the Dodgers have been always giving their fans the message, think blue. Royals fans wanting to do that as well. The Dodgers will be in town for a 3-game series, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All 3 are night games.
It's going to be exciting, no question about it, especially with Greinke and company coming. They're good pitch to Kershaw. But before they look ahead, they got to take care of the Mariners and get back in that win column. They want to do. Ventura's got him a lead. See if he can hold it.
The Royals have lost 3 in a row after a 10-game win streak, and now they're facing Brad Miller, who's been red hot, 7 for 13 on this trip to San Diego and Kansas City. He has hit in 6 straight to get his average over 200 for the first time in a month. Two balls, 2 strikes. Young player who they really think will be their shortstop for years to come. 2nd-round pick in 2011 out of Clemson. Man, he just reared back and blew him away with 98-mile-an-hour heat.
And that's elevated cheese.
I thought you were going to throw us a Linda Ronstadt there.
That's always possible, except most of the young audience are not aware of Linda Ronstadt, the great singer.
And her song of choice?
80s and 90s. She's got a popular hit called Blue Bayou. Speaking about the great country in Louisiana, I'm sure, but that's a Blue Bayou for sure.
Line drive towards right field. That will drop, and reach the wall. Maxwell gets to it as quickly as possible, and cruising into second base is Willie Bloomquist, the former Royal, with a double.
You won't see a finer swing on a curveball to the opposite field than the mighty Bloomquist just put on that one. That's how you teach young players that are just seeing curveballs for the first time to hit it. Let the ball travel deep. It's up. It's able to be hit, but stroke it to right field. Because you're using that bottom hand and you're shooting it that way. If you try to pull it, your top hand dominates. You swing over the top of it, or you top it and hit a little roller in the infield. Beautiful swing.
Andy Chavez, the batter, flied out to center field, first time up. Ventura comes back inside. He went 97 with a fastball, came back inside at 95. Andy right now with a .234 batting average, no home runs, 2 RBIs. He's playing because of their injury to Michael Saunders, and they have missed him. Corey Hart, designated hitter, also out, and first baseman Justin Smoke. Ground ball right side. Infante has it. 2 gone. Moving to third, Bloomquist. Let's go to Joel.
Well, we really had a chance to see the talents of James Jones, perhaps an emerging star, but when the season started, it was really Abraham Almonte that the Mariners were counting on. He struggled out there in center field, went back. James Jones came up. He was drafted in 2009, and really every team in baseball was looking at him, guys, as a pitcher. Other than the Mariners and the Reds, he could throw 92 to 94 in college. The interesting thing on James is this: he went to Long Island University. He's a kid from Brooklyn, and if you haven't heard a whole lot about players making it to the big leagues from Long Island University, it's because he is the first one. Grew up a big Bernie Williams fan, Ken Griffey Jr. fan, and he said that unlike a lot of the guys that grew up playing maybe college ball out in places like Arizona or Florida, where maybe you lose a ball in the high sky, his backdrop when he was hitting at Long Island University was a hospital beyond the left field wall, a pharmacy beyond the right field wall, and the glare off of the buildings in the area for a fielder and the glass and the sun hitting that. So different experience for him. He's loving every minute of it, and he's also enjoying watching his friend, who we saw recently, Dellin Betances, the 8th inning setup man for the Yankees. Both of those guys played together in AAU ball in New York City.
And Betances has just been rock solid as the 8th inning setup guy for the Yankees and leads all relievers in strikeouts. How about that heat? 99 miles an hour, a 1-2 count.
You know who Jones's true hero is, though, Fizz? His mother, who's a nurse in Brooklyn. She can't help him hit that one, though. He might just come back with one of those.
He did at 99, but this time Jones on it a bit more. And when you foul it straight back, as James Shields will say, that's when you know he's on it. So you might go changeup after this, after seeing 2 at 99 miles an hour.
Yep, changeups, though, if they're elevated, can be hit a lot easier. Sometimes that'll speed the bat up. Be careful with that pitch. There it is. Put the hammer on it.
He did go off speed and strikes out Jones. 2 in the inning. Jones with a man at third. Park at the park. lead. Justin Maxwell with a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the second inning, scoring Alex Gordon. So Elias will get ready for his third inning of work. Young man born in Guantanamo, Cuba, defected from Cuba to Mexico in late 2010 after playing for the Guantanamo national team for Cuba. Omar Infante will lead things off, and when he left he had nothing but a backpack. Had a 30-hour boat ride from Cuba to get to another friendly island. A little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. He is the third native Cuban to pitch for the Mariners, joining Diego Segui in 1977 and Tony Fossis in 1998. Omar pops it up right side. Morrison down the line in foul territory. Makes the catch for out number 1. New this season, you can get an autograph from select Royals players prior to every Sunday home game on Signature Sundays. 2 Royals players will sign autographs on top of the Royals dugout from 11:45 to 12:05, weather permitting. So come out to the ballpark early on Family Fun Day Sundays. Learn more at Royals.com/Sunday. The guys today, Rex, had to be really disciplined on how they worked their hitting before the game because there was photo day. A lot of fans were waiting in the on deck or out on the warning track. And the Royals jogged out there and had their pictures taken, signed a few autographs.
Yep, and then they go in and just got time to take a few hacks. But in weather like this, hitters and players don't have to do a lot of stretching or anything like that. Days like today, it's okay to just get loose on your own and let them go. Just go out there and play.
Back-to-back day games for Kansas City.
If you didn't hit it all that day, it's okay. You go up to that batter's box and you just play the game the way it used to be played. Just get out there and see it and hit it. Keep it simple. Don't make it more complicated than it is.
Hosmer gets a strike. That would make it a bit complicated.
Yeah, he's gonna have to.
Now that's serious sunscreen.
Wow.
That's 184. And Eric chased a bad pitch.
Is that what Stacy was wearing when she met you the first time?
She's still wearing it. I look better when she wears that veil. Hit to the right side. Bloomquist throws out Hosmer. 2 gone. So Roenis Elias will now face Billy Butler with 2 out and nobody on. And our Toyota League leaders show how important both pitchers have been this year to the respective ball clubs as rookies. Only Tanaka has thrown more innings than Elias, and Jake Odorizzi with a terrific performance for Tampa Bay yesterday. He's thrown more innings than the Royals' Ventura. Jake struck out 10 in 7 innings yesterday as the Rays won. They're still in last place in the American League East at 30-46. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
Smooth changeup. That's a beauty. Same arm speed as his 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Right down the middle. You saw how the hitter Billy was behind it. Or he was ahead of it, excuse me.
Billy sends that one down the right field line, and he comes charging around first. On his way to second, they've got a great chance to throw him out, and Billy is gone.
Oh well, with 2 outs, it's not a bad gamble.
umpire Laz Diaz, who was a former Marine. He asked to meet a serviceman in the stands in between innings and gave him an autographed baseball. And the man he wanted to meet was First Lieutenant Jake Ryan, who served in the U.S. Army for 3 years in the Chemical Corps. He was deployed to Afghanistan in 2012 in support of Operation Enduring Freedom with the 101st Combat Air Brigade and the 63rd Chemical Company at Bagram Airfield. And Laz just wanted to visit with him, say thank you very much. And Laz Diaz is just a terrific umpire, but great gentleman as well.
Got that right. And look, the players give back, so do the men in blue. Laz, giving it up for those who served us. Thank you.
Yordano Ventura back to work. He'll face Robinson Cano. There's Jake Ryan. He's got that baseball. Good to have him back in the States. Boy, Cano had a good rip on a Ventura heater at 99. Ventura has struck out 3, got 2 in the 3rd inning, both swinging. Miller to start the inning and Jones to finish it off with a runner at 3rd base. Robinson with only 4 home runs this year. He has averaged 28 his last 5 seasons. But Safeco Field, Rex, a much bigger ballpark, particularly down that right field line than Yankee Stadium.
That's right. But you know what? He's doing his job. He's getting base hits. He's always been 1, 2, or 3 in the league in hitting. Power will come later. Getting a lot of hits to the opposite field. That's the way Lorenzo Cain in center field is playing him to left center.
He's second in the American League in batting at .332, behind Altuve of Houston at .336.
But both of these guys, one's a young guy, one's a more veteran player, both smooth, very smooth in what they do.
There's the 100-mile-an-hour heater up above the letters and struck him out.
See that effortless delivery there. Actually, he had a little more of a leg kick on that. He meant more of a leg swing. He put a little extra on that one, and he blew that by him. There was a Linda Ronstadt pitch. Blew by you.
Now Logan Morrison, who walked his first time up, was sacrificed to second base. Omar Infante made a nice play to end the 2nd inning on a line drive struck by Dustin Ackley. Now Morrison breaking his bat. No, he just needs a little more pine tar in the handle. Another sun-drenched afternoon at the K. Clouds overhead, but right now the sun has broken through. And the winds have turned. They're going to help the left-handed batters now. Fouled back. Advantage Ventura, 0-2. The Royals will put 3 infielders in the right side, including Omar Infante, about 20 feet out on the outfield grass.
Many things stand out at this beautiful ballpark here at the K, especially when all the fans are coming in their blue. The fountains that are unlike any other ballpark in America. Nice big high-def scoreboard. But Trevor Vance and his grounds crew do a nice job, and that crown that they have cross-cut out there in center field is beautiful. We hadn't mentioned it in this series. Been on the road for a while. They need a little love. See that, man? That's a beautiful little crown right in that area right there. Really got some nice cross-cut action. Stand out, one of the most beautiful parks in the world.
We've had 2 of the very best groundskeepers in George Toma, Hall of Famer, and of course Trevor Vance now. He takes a great deal of pride in this ballpark and the way it looks for the fans and on TV. Ventura has only thrown 45 pitches through 3 1/3, so his pitch efficiency very good. 31 strikes Only 14 have missed. Only 1 walk with 4 strikeouts. We told you the one man he walked is at the plate now, and Logan Morrison. Barely missed inside.
I think Logan knows that if he tries to hit that, his bat will splinter. Got to be awfully quick to turn on an inside fastball at that velocity.
Popped him up left side. Escobar drifting out. Gordon comes charging in, calls off Esky, and makes a nice running catch. Well, certainly the grounds crew doing a great job, and they're one of the candidates for our Player of the Month. Vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com/Royals, and you will be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House.
There's Trevor right there. He's looking good. I'm going to put a star right here on him. He's the captain of the ship. And there's, these guys, he's got a pitchfork there. Look at that. Now, there's only one thing that really chaps, doesn't even chap Trevor, is that those are Alex Gordon footprints. Alex does that everywhere he goes. And, the grounds crew, there's never, ever a yellow spot on this yard. But they know Alex does it. It's okay with them.
Alex right now looking like Pigpen out of Charlie Schultz fame.
That's just how
Peanuts.
There's only one thing missing. That's some Trevor turf. He needs some grass stains on his excuse me. He needs some grass stains on his pants to go along with that dirt.
And the pine tar that when he wraps his bat over his back, it's always right across his shoulder. Gamer. 0-2 pitch. Struck him out. 5 in the game for Ventura and 4 in the last 2 innings. Alex Gordon, certainly a candidate for the All-Star game this year. Why not grab a ballot? Hashtag Crown a Royal and vote for Alex Gordon. Very deserving, leads the club in home runs, RBIs, 3 Gold Gloves. Send him to this July's All-Star game on Fox.
Alex Gordon. He is a player.
I think he'd do well in that home run derby. In games, he just tries to hit line drives, but in the derby, well, it will be on Monday, and then Tuesday on Fox is the All-Star game itself.
July 15th, folks. Mark that down and watch it. It's a spectacular event for baseball.
Gordon Perez in Holland went last year. And Alex and Salvador will go back to back in the 4th inning against Elias. Alex singled to right field, went to second on Perez's single, to third in the flyout by Valencia, and came home on Maxwell's sacrifice fly to center.
That wouldn't have happened had not Alex Gordon tagged at second base on a shallow fly ball to right center. Took a chance and made it.
Elias right now at 45 pitches, just starting his bottom of the 4th. Just barely got a piece of that breaking ball, and that has been a great strikeout pitch for him this year. He throws it 24% of the time. A little more than 21% of the time will go at the changeup.
He's going to use that against lefties, that curve. It goes away from him. Harder to hit the ball going away from you.
Alex sends it to center field. Jones will make the catch, and there's one down. Fans on select dates this season, fans of select area colleges can purchase a special ticket package that included a ticket to the game and limited edition KC cap sporting your favorite school colors and logo, all at a discounted price. Next up is K-State Day next Sunday versus the Angels, followed by Mizzou night on July 25th. Don't miss your chance to root on your Royals and your school. Visit Royals.com/promotions now for tickets.
Yeah, nothing wrong with collecting all of them.
Yeah, but they gave a great Wichita State cap yesterday, and Joel was talking with a lot of the Shockers who played for the basketball team, got to that NCAA tournament before getting knocked out by a great Kentucky team. Perez now 2 for 2, and both of his singles have gone to center field.
That's an easy swing and a lousy single up the middle. Watch him how he goes back. See how he's moving back? He's got his weight going back to come forward. That's what you need to do as a hitter. In order to get something coming forward, you got to go back. That's a perfect swing. Look at that. Nice stiff front leg. You got a great balanced swing. It's hitting all off of this side right here. See how he's going back? His hands are going back as that pitch is on the way, and he's coming forward. Just telling my young son that this morning. Watch Salvador Perez, Alex Gordon, some of these big league hitters at its best. You'll learn something.
And your son will the thrill in a big tournament game today.
Yes. Matter of fact, the Mackensites Royals have won both games today and are playing for the state title today up in Platte City.
Danny Valencia now the batter, and he takes it high and tight. 2 balls and no strikes. How's Jennifer with the play-by-play of the Mackensites Royals team?
Not good. Let's change the subject.
So it's basically hand the phone to another dad and
Whatever.
give you the information.
No, okay.
Let's don't be so hard on her.
All right,
She's doing the best she can.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I let it go.
You're really disappointed about this. 1 on, 1 out. Count 3-0 to Valencia. Green light him here?
No. Just get that walk. Get a walk. 1 out.
Ned says he's more aggressive with 1 out than he is with nobody out.
All right, now he's got 3-1. He can see more pitches. Hadn't been in big league action in a while. You know, only time you want to swing 3-0 is when you're going good. You're red hot. You've been seeing the ball well. You know, that's the only time now. He's on his own here, though.
Denny, a career .326 hitter against left-handers. And time called by Zunino.
Hitters like that. That makes you feel special. They're going to go talk about me right here. They're a little nervous on what to throw.
So what do you think Elias will throw?
Hard to tell. Fastball's a good pitch for him. Stay with it.
Whacked foul. Well, 3-2.
That's what you got to look for.
Elias has had some great games this year. Tossed the first complete game and shutout of his career June 1st against the Tigers. It is the only complete game by a Mariners pitcher this year, and that includes Felix Hernandez and Hisashi Iwakuma. They're 1-2 pitchers.
Be surprised to see Salvador take off 3-2, 1 out here. Want to finish on a double play. Strike him out, throw him out. He didn't go. Don't want to do that. Got Maxwell on deck. Maxwell, he's due any swing. He could leave the yard.
And Elias has given him a lot more flyouts than groundouts in this game. Usually he is a ground ball pitcher. Danny swings and misses and strikes out. Did not give him the heater.
Oh, change up. Wow. See how he was way out in front of it? Excellent pitch.
Maxwell knocked in the first run on a sacrifice fly. Good to see him back from AAA. He was down there for 26 games, hit .316, 5 home runs, 18 driven in. And that's what both he and Ned Yost said. He just needed to get consistent work. He said when he went down first 4 games, felt like spring training had no rhythm, no timing. Wanted to see more pitches, their break, their way they change speeds. 0-2.
It's all about the arm speed on Elias, for the hitter to try to pick up that release point and decide which pitch is coming and where it's going to be. It's not easy.
Justin still looking for his first home run of the year. He hit 2 with Houston last year, then acquired by the Royals, hit 5 more, hit very well at the K, over 300. But Elias strikes him out. And the Royals are done through 4. They still take a 1-0 lead in the 5th for Ventura. brought to you by Panera, coming soon to College and King and Overland Park. And by your Midwest Ford dealer. Visit us at yourmidwestforddealers.com. Beautiful look at the K. Clouds overhead, bark at the park. Everybody bringing their dogs and making sure they get the right hydration. He looks like he needs a little water.
Beautiful. Love to see the canines out today. And they're loving that ballpark, but they definitely want to see a win.
We should have brought Simba and Luca.
Oh, well.
Our dogs, but yours is ready for the occasion. Mine's still a little too young.
Yeah, but all these dogs are really enjoying this opportunity. Mainly the pet owners, you know, they're excited to show off their dogs.
Well, you know, I remember last year, and Steve Kurtenbach gave us a couple of shots, Steve, our director, of dogs that were actually watching the game. They were really into the action. That ball is shot down the line into the corner. Gordo gets to it as quickly as possible. Racing to second base is Zunino with a stand-up double.
Notice Zunino, once he hit first base, he kind of pulled off the throttle, knowing that Alex Gordon is great at throwing guys out at second. And then once he saw how it went down around the foul pole, he continued into second base. But that's the reputation that Alex Gordon has. Salvador Perez, guy, you know, Salvi throws behind runners at bases. He's going to take off now. He sees it. He's thinking right now, uh-oh, should I go? See, he kind of pulls up. Then he looked and said, well, okay.
Now Dustin Ackley, who lined out to end the second with a runner at third, takes ball one.
Seattle Mariners now looking to manufacture. Ackley, a pull hitter. They're trying to pull that ball over.
Do you think Ventura then will go away, try and attack the outside corner?
Sometimes they do that, and that's not going to get it done.
Left center field, Kane there. Zunino tags, does not go. Wise move. Hey parents, sign your kids up for Sluggers Blue Crew. Members receive a limited edition Royals baseball t-shirt, cap, car magnet, 2 ticket vouchers, free stadium tour, and much more. Membership is just $25. Be a part of the fun all season long. Join now at Royals.com/Blue Crew. And the red hot Brad Miller. Now he did strike out his first time up, but he has a 6-game hit streak going, 450 average, 2 home runs. He hit the home run in the 9th on Friday that lifted the Mariners to a 7-5 victory over Kansas City. One ball, one strike. Royals with 3 tough losses after winning 10 straight. Losses by 1 run, 2 runs, and 1 run. Rex, there was a time where the Royals were going through a difficult time at the end of May, and you might remember when they were swept by the Houston Astros. In that series, Yordano Ventura had discomfort in his elbow. We were unsure how serious that injury was. Also in that series, Danny Duffy had his dead arm game. That ball struck to center field. Kane is off to the races, and about 15 from the warning track will make the catch, and Zunino, who was halfway, had to go back and tag and does not make it to third. Also during that Houston series, we received information that Kyle Zimmer, our top prospect, had hurt his lat. And so all of this bad news, and you're going, man, what's happening with the ball club? They're swept by Houston, a team that lost over 100 games last year. That's when they started that win streak, 15 out of the next 19. So it can turn that fast.
Yeah, and that's just baseball. I mean, every team has to go through that. Every team's dealing with injuries and all of those things that are unfortunate, but they happen. That's why depth is so important to organizations. What do you have in case something happens? Ventura's been really good holding those runners in scoring position at a 209 average. They're 0 for 6 today.
He faces Willie Bloomquist, doubled his first time up. Salvi going out to visit. There have been times where Dave Island has told Salvador, when you see that he's getting underneath where his elbow drops a little bit, go out there and talk to him. And there is the Royals pitching coach, Dave Island. We want to let you know that this week is your final chance to buy tickets and join current and former Royals players on the field for Diamond of Dreams. It's this Thursday. It's a fantastic evening, and it all benefits Royals charities. Buy tickets at royals.com/Diamond of Dreams.
Oh, it's fun. Not only the food, the event, but the food.
Same spot, fair ball, and this will tie the game. Man, Bloomquist on fire. Same spot, right field, just a sinking line drive, and it caught chalk and ties the game at 1.
Wonder if that was a breaking ball again. That's not a good call, especially on a guy who's firecracker hot on that pitch before, who really took that ball to right field on the breaking ball. But let's check a look at this again. And is Willie living right? Absolutely. That ball dropped right on the line. It was a fastball, so that's okay. It was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. So Willie Bloomquist, he's just going good. I didn't think they were going to give him another breaking ball.
Willie now hitting nearly 370 his last couple of weeks. 1-1 game. Andy Chavez the batter, down in the count 0-1. Royals need their offense going. They're only 7-30 when they score 3 runs or less, and about every single Royal fan knows that they do so well if they score just 4 or more runs. They're 32-5 this year. And he tried to stop his swing. He was expecting fastball, and as soon as he tried to check it, he went too far, and he's down in the count 0-2.
What really gets in the back of a hitter's mind is when a pitcher shakes his head. When he shakes once, twice, you're not as confident as you would if he didn't shake at all.
Up high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Detroit crushing Cleveland today, 9-1 in the 6th. That's Scherzer against Tomlin. Looks like Max is going to have an easy time winning his 9th. Detroit had a 1.5 lead on Kansas City, trying to sweep the Tribe. They won last night 5-4 in 10 innings. Cleveland came back on Joe Nathan. Miguel Cabrera with a big hit in that 10th. Here it's 1-1. And Chavez is out number 3, but a pair of doubles in the 5th inning, one by Zunino, one by Bloomquist, have tied this game at 1.
bond between the Mariners and Royals. Joel Goldberg back, and maybe one piece of good news. The Royals won't have to see that guy in this series, King Felix. I did have a chance to visit with Felix Hernandez this morning and really asked him about the bond between Venezuelan players. And he was saying there's an incredible bond and connection and chemistry, fraternity between all Latin players, but it's awfully close between the Venezuelans. And I remember back in 2012 when King Felix had his perfect game, there was so much pride from guys like Alcides Escobar and Salvador Perez. They were rooting for him that day for it to happen for their country. He said he's a huge fan of all three of the Royals Venezuelan players. Salvador Perez, he said, is unreal behind the plate. Omar, so smart out there in the field. And then he said, Alcides Escobar, what more can you say about this guy with the defensive plays that he makes over and over again? Also an interesting connection, guys, because Felix from the same hometown, Valencia, Venezuela, as Salvador Perez, Andy Chavez, Yangervis Solarte, and also Yoervis Medina is from that area too. So a lot of connection between these guys. They pull for each other when they can.
It really is remarkable how much talent comes out of not only Venezuela but the Dominican Republic, two small countries, and not a great population but hotbeds for baseball, where baseball is the #1 sport over soccer.
It's because of the weather.
I know, but you would think Brazil, Argentina, soccer, and then there's Venezuela, where they are absolutely captivated by hardball.
A lot of that goes back to their history of all the great players that came from there. Luis Aparicio, he was one of their big heroes. How about that little pause there, a little hesitation we haven't seen from Elias.
Tried to throw off Escobar's timing. Royals would love to get a speed guy on to start this 5th inning and reclaim the lead. Not this time. There's that good breaking ball, and he has struck out the last 3 Royals. He wasn't even expected to be part of the rotation when the season began, came to spring training, and Lloyd McClendon said he absolutely impressed us, not only with his stuff, but his poise, his maturity. He defected from Cuba, signed in 2011, and here 3 years later in the big leagues and one of the top rookies in the game. Lorenzo Cain, the batter, has walked and struck out. The Royals have 1 run on 4 hits. The Mariners have 1 run on 3. The Royals may have missed Felix Hernandez, but they caught Young and they caught Elias, and that's been enough. Two-thirds, Seager has it. Cain is out number 2.
Pitching's been good this whole last week against the Royals, and it'll continue to stay good. Dodgers come to town, the Angels. You know, every day from here on out, it's going to be a grind, no doubt. But these players are welcoming it. They're ready. Just taking that. You hear so many players say, "Well, we just take it one day at a time," and a lot of people roll their eyes and say, "Oh, such a cliche," but it's such the truth. You can't look to tomorrow. You've got to focus on what you can do for the team today.
And the Royals only have 2 off days this entire month. They were scheduled to have 3, but last Thursday in Detroit, that was that rain out from earlier in the year scheduled for that day. So the Royals continue to grind on. They will have an off day this Thursday at home, which they're welcoming.
There's another word: grind, marathon. You hear those words in this game. You don't hear that in the other sports. It's because they're not played every day. And I love what Michael Jordan tried to do years ago. One of the best athletes in the world. Thought baseball looked so easy, and he'd had some baseball in his past. Says, you know what, I'm going to quit basketball. I'm going to go be a big leaguer. Well, he found out that it's not about the physical tools as much as it is the mental side of it. How do you deal with failure every day? Ooh, great spot. The mentally strong survive this game. And the fact that Jordan couldn't do it and went back to basketball, it's a credit to all baseball players.
Again, that little hesitation from Elias, and Infante takes it in. So the second time in the inning he has had a Royal at 3-2. Struck out Escobar swinging. Threw him a breaking ball on a 3-2 count. His 74th pitch of the afternoon on the way. Ball 4.
Okay, nice job coming back there. Second walk of the day.
You can now enjoy unique experiences, fans, every time you come out to the K with our new Royals Fan Memories program. A variety of on-the-field opportunities will be available for purchase each homestand exclusively through the MLB.com at the ballpark app. Go to Royals.com/memories for more information, or download the At the Ballpark app on your phone and select upgrades. Here is Eric Hosmer. And he hits one high in the air, right center field, playable for Endy Chavez. That will do it for KC. 1-1 going to the 6th. Taking the first two by scores of 7-5 and 2-1. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler. We're now joined by the Hall of Fame broadcaster, Sundays with Denny. Denny Matthews now joins us. And Denny, great to have you aboard. Just wanted to get your take on what you have seen the first 5 innings with these two fine young rookie pitchers.
Pretty good pitching, huh? Yeah, Elias has struggled a little bit with his command from time to time, but he's got good stuff, and he's tough on lefties. He's got a couple of different arm slots to the lefties. So, yeah, he's been pretty effective. It's impressive.
Showing a little hesitation in his delivery.
Last inning a couple of times, yeah.
It's a nice little move. Usually veteran players or pitchers develop that, like Guthrie's been doing that later in his career. You don't see that always out of a young guy.
A lot of the Japanese pitchers do that.
Believe it. Witnessed it.
Here is Ventura with 6 strikeouts, and your thoughts on Giordano, and not only today, but his evolution this year.
He's really learned how to pitch, hasn't he? Before, he was just out there trying to impress the radar gun, and now he's throttled back a little bit. I think his command is better for it, and it hasn't really hurt movement on his pitches either. It's 97 with movement. That's going to get most guys out.
He's almost using it like that 98 as a change up, where he'll be around 93, 94, and then almost use it as a reverse changeup.
And the other thing that he's really discovered is that command is paramount too to good consistent pitching.
Escobar throws out Jones, 1 out.
not only Dave Island has done such a special job with all the pitchers, but how much influence do you think that has been on Ventura that the veteran pitchers have had? Guthrie, Shields, Vargas, talking to this guy daily, Bruce Chin.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt that those guys have really upped the effectiveness of the young guys. And if you're smart enough to listen to guys who've been around for 6 or 7 years, all of a sudden you're going to be better for it. And I think a great example of that, let's just go across the state, where Wainwright learned from Carpenter, and now all the Cardinal young pitchers are learning from Wainwright. And it seems to me that the veteran pitchers on the staff, it's almost a duty, if you want to put it in that sense, to impart knowledge to the younger guys. Now, the younger guys have to be receptive, obviously, and I think most of the young guys on the Royals pitching staff are, and smart enough to go to the guys and try to glean some knowledge from all of their experience.
And can I tell you, though, it always wasn't that way. When I came in and other young players came in the 80s, 70s, the veteran players were a little nervous about losing their jobs to the young guys. So they weren't as helpful as they are nowadays.
There's no question about that. And you've read stories about that. You've heard stories about that. You're exactly right.
Yeah, when the Yankees picked me #1 overall and I went to New York to meet the boss, the media, I'm only 17, they positioned me in front of Bucky Dent's locker and took pictures.
A 2-2 count between Ventura and Robinson Cano, but Dave Island actually had Shields and Chen talk to Ventura about warming up slowly and building to the game, and they said they embraced it. And the kid was very welcome to listen and learn.
Well, if you don't, you're not very smart, and you're probably not going to last very long on this level.
Who was the Royal that you saw impart his knowledge onto the younger pitchers, like guys like Splittorff and Dennis Leonard? They were always talking with some of the younger pitchers.
Yeah, Leonard was very good. Kevin Apier was good. Buddy Black was excellent. There have been several. There have been a lot of guys. And this organization, let's say this about the Royals, they have had, almost without exception, good character people. And if a player came up and he was not of good character, maybe selfish in a way of speaking, gone. Didn't want him around.
That's right. He'd be a good team player.
Yep.
Cano taking a shot at left field, fouls it off, still with a 3-2 count with Ventura.
Denny, has there been any young power pitcher that's come in that you've seen in your time that throws so effortlessly like Ventura? It's amazing how the ball comes out of his hand with very little body movement at all.
Now, Kevin Apier was the exact opposite. He looked like there was so much movement, and the mound after he was done with 3 or 4 innings looked like somebody had been out there digging a garden. I mean, it was ridiculous. Steve Busby would be that way, what you described. He was very smooth. The ball came out of his hand very easily.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see Apier throw, and you go, how does he maintain a consistency with that max effort and all that movement in his delivery? But he did it for so many seasons. Now Logan Morrison up. Cano walked on the 3-2 pitch.
Apier had nasty stuff, and boy, right-handers did not want any part of him.
Strike one. And speaking of Apier, this was our Sprint Family question of the day, Danny. Which animal-related player nickname in baseball is your favorite? Kevin Apier, Rich Goose Gossage, Jim Catfish Hunter, Whitey White Rat Herzog. Not listed there is Rex the Wonder Dog Hudler.
Not listed.
Nah, and you can't blame him.
I would go with Catfish because it really wasn't a nickname. Charlie Finley wanted every one of his players to have a nickname. And Charlie Finley went up to Jim Hunter and he said, have you ever gone fishing? And Jim Hunter said no. And so Charlie Finley said, well, it doesn't matter. You're going to be Catfish. So great. Okay.
Morrison pops it up left side. Escobar there. And 2 outs.
Denny, what would your nickname be had you been a big league player?
Let me give that some consideration.
Would it have to do with your state?
No, probably not Catfish.
How about your state? Something about Illinois?
No, that doesn't have a ring to it, does it? Let me work on that one for a half inning. I'll come up with something. You're going to be obligated to call me that.
How about the alias you had when you played hockey with Doug Rader?
Well,
I know that story you told us before the game.
That was a pretty common name. I mean, Rob Freeman, come on. Rader had the best one. Dominic Volgazio. I said, come on, you're a big, tall, red-headed guy with freckles. There's nothing Italian about you. He said, yeah, I know, but I'll just like the ring. I like the name.
Ground ball, second base. They'll come to first, and Eric Hosmer will make the play, and Denny will have you stay with us for another half inning. Sundays with Denny will continue right after this. By the Ram 1500 is Motor Trend's Truck of the Year and the first ever back-to-back champion. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price every day. Park at the park today.
Did you bring your dog?
I did not. Oh, look at that. Wishbone is here.
It's a General Patton dog.
Wow.
Well, our Academy Sports and Outdoors box score. This is Denny's masterpiece. This is the first 5 innings of your scorecard, and it's like a piece of art.
I don't have a computer.
Your nickname would be Picasso.
There you go. No, HUD's going to go with Mad Dog.
All right.
But I'm not mad.
No.
I don't have a dog, so that's not going to work. Here's the one. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
When I was in college, you guys can come up with it. Come on, Denny Matthews. Now, what would you call me? Matty.
Okay.
My dad was Matty. I was Matty. One of my young brothers is Matty. Everybody that knew us. Okay. Nobody ever has caught on to that in baseball, though.
That's a good one.
That is interesting because everybody in my family is Fizz.
Yeah.
My sisters, my brothers.
HUD.
How about Glory?
Fizz, Matty.
How about Glory Days Matthews?
Oh, I don't know.
That's all right. I'm just making it off my small brain.
You don't like Matty?
Yeah, no, I love it.
I mean, it's easy. It's quick. You know,
I think fitting for today, though, is Mad Dog.
You think?
All the dogs in the park.
Yeah, it matches.
How about Sonic Slam? Because it is the 6th inning.
How about a slam?
That would be fantastic as Billy steps up. He is singled, thrown out at second base, trying to extend a single to a double. Our contestant in the Sonic Slam inning is Philip Dorman from Independence. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Philip will win $600. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Philip will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. And then he chases an off-speed pitch away from him and strikes out. So Elias really looks like he has picked things up after giving up a run to the Royals in the second inning. He has 5 strikeouts now. Gordon went deep yesterday.
Seattle just kind of hangs around, don't they? They're not going to overpower you with fantastic offense, but they do some little things. They pitch well. They just kind of hang around, and then at the end, we've seen it 2 straight games. They can score a run, figure out a way to win a game. It's a hard team to play against.
This is a good team. Lloyd McClendon has his voice, and he's a no-nonsense manager, by the book guy.
And that's why it's so important to have good pitching. And the one thing they didn't know they had at the beginning of the year was a good bullpen. I mean, they've had a fantastic bullpen, a 3.5 ERA by their starters, but 2.75 by their pen. To left field. 2 outs.
Which brings up a question. Is it easier to put together a starting rotation or a bullpen on the major league level?
I would think it would be a starting rotation, because it just seems like there's greater turnover in bullpens these days. But if you can find an 8th, 9th inning combination like the Royals have done with Davis and Holland, man, you can nail down a lot of wins, because the back end of the Royals bullpen seemed to be nailing down any of the Royal early victories.
Yeah, that's like discovering gold when you get an 8 and 9 guy. But I think it's a little more difficult to put together a solid, consistent starting rotation.
I'd agree. And Dayton Moore has done that here. He's got 5 starters with ERAs under 4. And they're able to eat up the innings, save the bullpen till they do get to the back end. And that's a nice commodity, especially in the long haul that season.
Has any team on the major league level ever won a championship without a solid starting rotation?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. If there was, I'd like to know what team it was and when it happened.
Elias will take care of Salvador Perez, and he has been outstanding through 6 here at the K. 1-1 score going to the 7th. Time for our AT&T U-verse Rewind. You remember this moment. Harold Reynolds was going, ball hit down, and Bo Jackson with a remarkable throw, Denny.
Yeah, there was a lot of tremendous physical ability in that play, but there was one element of luck. If you look at the play, and that's Jim Lefevre, manager of Seattle at the time, the one element of luck in that play, if you look at that play over and over again, you'll see Bo take the ball off the wall with his back to the infield, and he just turned and fired. The element of luck was that that throw was right on line. Now, how many times can you do that? Bo Jackson had a tremendous arm, but if he did that, 10 times, Hud, I'll bet you he could make that throw maybe twice.
Yep, I agree. It was just a freak.
Yeah, in a sense, but it was a great play. Harold Reynolds hasn't recovered yet.
Nope.
By the way, fans, Pedro Siriaco takes over at shortstop. You might remember that Escobar was hit by a pitch in the leg back in the second inning, and perhaps Rex had started to swell up and they needed to get him out of there.
Yeah, shin bone's difficult. Anywhere at the knee or below, if it gets on the bone, sometimes that bone bruise can go deep and it can affect you later, especially if you compensate and you're limping with it. It causes another injury sometimes. So get him out of there, get some ice on there, if that is the problem. We don't know.
Ventura right now dealing with Mike Zunino, who has popped up and doubled. When he doubled, that was the leadoff double in the 5th inning, and then 2 batters later Bloomquist knocked him in with a double.
Zunino has hit the 2 hardest balls of the entire series. The home run Friday night and the double. It's a good thing that double wasn't elevated. But nobody has hit the ball harder in this series than Zunino's double and home run.
A 1-2 count. Back our way.
What young starter will blink first? This is a duel. Stare down.
I've got to think, when you defect from Cuba and you're in a boat, a creaky old boat, you end up in Mexico.
Oh, Denny.
Well, Zunino's hit another one hard, and he almost hit the Hall of Fame, and Seattle takes a 2-1 lead on his 9th home run of the year.
All right, he's hit the 3 hardest balls in the series.
Big fly home run this year. That's a hanging breaking ball. Stayed up right in the nitro zone at 86. Almost looked like he knew it was coming.
Dustin Ackley, the batter. He is 0 for 2. He's lined out and flied out. Ackley won last night's game, or yesterday afternoon's game, with a base hit to right field in the 9th, and now he rifles one that's almost the same identical spot where he hit the game winner last night, and he singles with nobody out in the 7th inning after Zunino blasted one over the wall here to start the 7th inning.
See how he's going back? You got to go back to start forward, and as strong as that guy is, all he's got to do is get one elevated. And hitter's the first one to know it. Pitcher's the second one to know it.
Well, the Royals are going to have to get it done offensively, and they have not of late. After averaging 7 runs during that 10-game win streak, they've scored just 8 runs in their last 4. Line drive base hit left field for Miller. So 3 straight by Seattle, and Miller extends his hit streak now to 7 in a row.
Mariners are using the same script that they used Friday night and yesterday afternoon. They hang around. They don't let you run away from them. They're in the game, and all of a sudden, bing, 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 and they've beaten you by 1 or 2 or 3 runs.
And they're not beating themselves. Last 5 games, now 6 coming in, they haven't aired.
They're unspectacular but solid.
Well, that's what's interesting about this team this year in Major League Baseball. It doesn't seem like there is a premier team, but it also doesn't seem like there is a team down at the bottom like Houston was last year. Houston's got a pretty good ball club this year. And so you have to come out every single day and play your best to move forward and have a chance at postseason.
Yeah, you're right. There's no dominant team at all. I mean, I don't know who that would be.
Good teams.
So there's some good teams. There's some average teams. There are below average teams, but it's like you just took a big compress and just pushed all the teams from the bottom and from the top together.
We've been seeing so many teams go up and down. I mean, Detroit has won the Central the last 3 years, and they have an elite, what you would think would be an elite rotation. Yet they have been up and down where they'll lose 8 out of 10 and then win 8 in a row.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we're saying there's no great team, because the really good dominant teams do not go up and down like that. They're consistent. They just grind it out, win most of the time. That's a good, solid, consistent, dominant team. There is none.
Ventura up, goes to third, gets the force there. Nicely done.
Willie Bloomquist 2 for 2 today, and he wanted to make it a perfect day with a sack, but Ventura, he's very athletic, sprung off of that mound, and I could hear Salvi from up here saying 3-3.
Yeah, that's not a good bunt in that situation. You got to bunt it closer to the line and hard enough so the third baseman has to commit. You bunt it closer to the line because if it rolls foul, so what? You got another shot or two. But you can't bunt it that close to the pitcher.
Very difficult at 97 mile an hour to get it where you want it.
Sure.
Now Andy Chavez, and he takes ball 1. I think it was about a week ago we were talking about this subject, Danny, and we were saying, you know, the one team we haven't seen, we won't see them until later in the year, is San Francisco, and they have been the most consistent, and then they lose 6 games in a row in 9 of 10.
There you are.
Fouled off.
Talking about bunting, different pitches. Ryan and I have had this debate for years. For you alone, Rex Hudler, easier for you to bunt a breaking ball or a fastball?
Breaking ball, hands down.
Agreed. Ryan says fastball. I say no way. It's easier to bunt a breaking ball.
It's moving down.
Exactly.
Bunter wants to bunt the top half of the ball. Makes sense.
All right, there's another one in my corner.
You got it. You know, John Tudor had the best changeup I ever saw as a hitter, and I knew it was coming, and I still couldn't hit it, so I would just pull up and bunt it 0-2. It's much easier to bunt a changeup, something that's off speed, than try to swing and make contact, and it used to make him angry. You know, I'm just trying to get on base. He'd look over at me at first base and say some unkind words to me, and I would just shrug my shoulders and go, well, I'm just trying to get on base. It's easier to bunt that pitch. You can't hit it.
Can't imagine Tudor being angry.
Oh, that Massachusetts guy, are you kidding?
Gordon will make the catch. The runners will not advance, particularly with Robinson, Cano now, or James Jones coming up, who's been hot in this series.
There's your hanger right in the middle of the plate, belt high. Just a little bit lower, same pitch though, a lot of middle of the plate. And that was up and away, so.
A nice piece of hitting there, though.
Yeah. Yep.
He just went with it, slapped it.
So Ventura, right at 96 pitches, doing his best to keep it at 2-1 Mariners, as Zunino hit a home run. And Jones fouls it straight down. He has struck out twice against Giordano and also grounded out.
That home run that he gave up to Zunino is just the 3rd home run he's given up to a right-hander this year.
And I think Ventura so far today has pitched this guy, James Jones, better than any of the other 8 hitters in their lineup. He has made better pitches to this guy so far to this point.
Jones takes another good one on the inner half.
Yeah, that wasn't bad either, was it?
Whew.
Yeah, he has carved him up, really. And Jones is a pretty good hitter. Not Cano, but he's a pretty good hitter. Not a bad pitch there. He wouldn't bite, but now he'll go after him.
He still has that ability late in ball games, and this is what Dave Island was talking about later in the game. Does he have the ability to reach back and throw that fastball by guys at 97, 98 miles an hour?
Previous pitch was 99.
What's he going to throw him here?
I'm going to drop that hammer on him. Same one that struck him out earlier.
Oh, does
Well,
the
it
tower.
comes at 100. .57 of his pitches today have been above 95 miles an hour. Infante will handle this one. Throw out Jones, who's very swift. That does it, but Zunino goes deep, gives Seattle a 2-1 lead. And we head to the bottom of the 7th inning to see Valencia, Maxwell, and Siriaco. Denny, thanks for joining us.
Anytime, boys. Always enjoy it.
Thanks, buddy.
Stadium, including premium seats. Do you have a corporate outing coming up or clients coming into town? Ticketsforless.com can get all your groups within the first 10 rows behind the dugout or even all together in the front row of the crown seats. Check out Ticketsforless.com for all your Royals tickets. Still 6 more games left on this homestand. It's both LA teams, Dodgers and Angels, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the Dodgers here tomorrow means the return of Zach Greinke. He has pitched against the Royals before, but of course, having spent 2004 through 2010 with the Royals, including a Cy Young award, it'll be Greinke and a homecoming going up against Jeremy Guthrie. And he is pitching well again this year, 9-3, 2.57 ERA. So Zach against his former team, and then it is Clayton Kershaw on Tuesday. Royals have their work cut out for them, but Zach, well, he pitched some of his best baseball here with the Royals, especially during that Cy Young Award season, and right now 6th in the National League in strikeouts. And Greinke truly one of the unique people in this game, and so we'll look forward to hearing from Zach and seeing him, although the game, the rosters have changed over the years, and it's guys like Alex Gordon and Billy Butler that were teammates, and players like Yordano Ventura, who came onto the scene well after Greinke was there. We're in a different era now, but it'll be fun to watch the former Cy Young Award winner going up against the team that drafted him. Guys?
Thank you, Joel. And he was 36-28 at the K with a 3.48 ERA, but so many fans do remember that great Cy Young year in 2009 when he won 16 games. The third Royals pitcher to win the Cy Young, joining Brett Saberhagen in 85 and 89 and David Cohn in 94. Here we go. Elias still in the game, and he'll face Danny Valencia, who will ground one to Brad Miller, throws him out. One down.
Ventura was getting congratulated in the dugout in between innings. So his day is over. Fantastic job. Now his last 3 starts, he got 18 runs of support. But Elias has been just dominant today. Seattle's on a roll.
But as Ned Yost has said before, if they're going to be a great team, they have to beat great pitching. And Elias, one of the top rookies in the American League, coming off a 6-1 victory over San Diego. He hasn't made many mistakes and now delivers strike 1 to Justin Maxwell.
Reason Valencia was swinging at the first pitch is he was almost 100% sure he was going to get a fastball, and that's the hitter's mindset when he does swing at that first one. Changeup.
Elias has him down very quickly, 0-2. Boy, he has gotten better as this game has progressed. Gave up 1 run on a sacrifice fly by Maxwell in the second. Since that time, 2 measly singles in the third and fourth, and nothing since.
Nice.
That will roll through, and there's a base hit. Doesn't matter if it's a seeing eye base hit. It made it through, and the Royals have the tying run on.
That's right. Now, Elias, I'm watching him. He's wiggling his glove a little bit when he comes set, and sometimes that'll throw a hitter off. I talked about how when a pitcher shakes 2 or 3 times, sometimes that'll get in his mind, but when he starts wiggling that glove, that detracts from the concentration of the hitter too. Now he's thinking, ooh, what's he trying to grip? How's he trying to grip that ball? Those are all little tendencies hitters look for before picking up the release point.
Siriaco bunts. Elias throws.
Wow.
Safe. They may debate this one.
Yeah, that was a great play. He wound up and just chucked it in there. Laz Diaz gave the safe call, but Lloyd McClendon, he's waiting for his replay, guys, and he'll come out and likely challenge it. He didn't take a crow hop at all. He didn't have time. He threw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Ooh.
Boy, that was bang, bang.
Yep, he looked out to me.
Well, they will take a look at it. This is a big moment in the game. The Royals could have 2 on with only 1 out, or the tying run in scoring position with 2 out.
This one here, I'll tell you, back of the leather. That looked like he just got him by a gnat's eyelash.
But it must be clear and convincing to overturn the call on the field.
Wasn't a bad idea. The bunt was down the line just a little bit more. He would have been safe. That's why they call this a game of inches.
Siriaco hitting because Escobar taken out after Esky was hit by a pitch earlier in the game, and we're guessing it was because of that shin injury. When the ball hit him in the shin, he continued for the next 3 innings and then taken out. Laz Diaz called Siriaco safe at first. Lloyd McClendon debated it. Right now the umpires and crew chief Jeff Nelson visiting with the umpires in New York City, who are viewing every single angle, including cameras they have positioned at first and third base areas above, where they can get an overview of the entire field. But let's take a look at it in real time.
incredible before replay came in how those plays are called, and a majority of them were called correctly. Umpires in Major League Baseball, some say, are the best officiating in professional sports. Imaginary strike zone at the plate. You know, you got to call balls and strikes the way you see them. And in basketball, you know, the referee can hear the sound of contact. You know, he can see a little more flagrant foul. It's a little bit different in baseball. But that ball moves at a high rate of speed. Look at that's going right into his glove right as he sent. Las Diaz looking right at it. But replay has made the game better because now wins and losses don't hinge on questionable calls.
Yeah, I sat with Steve Palermo, who right now is overview and judging the umpires and taking a look, and he is from the Kansas City area. And Steve was saying they really have done a great job, not only at the ballpark, but in New York City.
Okay, was it clear and convincing evidence is why they're taking so much time on this one. It was close.
Out. So Siriaco is out in a play that goes 1-3, and a break for Elias, who has been remarkable through 6 2/3 innings.
Yep, I saw him out.
And McClendon may be taking Elias out as Lorenzo Cain will come up. They have back-to-back right-handed hitters in Cain and Infante.
Well, a heck of a job. A long wait in between that. Lloyd McClendon says, you know, I got a guy hot and ready to come in the pin. Bullpen's been very reliable. This is going to be another tough comeback if they can do it.
Our Chevy call to the bullpen. In the bottom of the 7th inning, our AT&T fan photo comes from Gil. Looks like the whole family's at the K enjoying a wonderful afternoon, and hopefully the Royals can come back and knock off the M's. Seattle attempting their first sweep in Kansas City since May of 2007, and they'll bring on Yorvis Medina. 31st game this year, solid ERA, 2.63, 29 strikeouts in 27 1/3 innings.
The Royals, they've got to come up with a clutch hit, find a way to just get that little doinker in there, whatever they can, with a runner in scoring position. And Lorenzo Cain could be the guy to do that.
He's been strong with runners in scoring position this year. 377 to start this game. Did strike out with the man in scoring position in the second. Medina has allowed just 1 run in his last 15 games. That covers 13 2/3 innings.
Pretty good. Mid-90s fastball, hard slider.
Good speed at second in Maxwell. Strike 2.
A pretty long swing. Lorenzo's been so successful with runners out there with a good short swing, just trying to place the ball somewhere.
Maxwell singled with 1 out. Siriaco dropped the bunt, was ruled safe at first. The challenge determined that he was out. So 2 gone, 2 strikes. And Lorenzo knocked that one back to the screen as Medina went with the breaking ball.
He almost got to that, tried to dump it in there in right field. Lorenzo's hitting .320 with 2 outs this year.
Just low.
Medina thought he had it. You don't want to get called out. Anything close, you got to be ripping it.
Boy, it had hard late sink to it. Foul.
Just before that pitched, I looked at the third baseman, Kyle Seager, and he was wanting to look in the dugout to see if they want to move him closer to the line, and they said no, leave him right where he is.
They almost need to get it right down the line to get it past him. He's about 10 feet off of the line, deep at third. He did not go when the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes, and we just received word on Alcides Escobar's injury. Left shin contusion. He is day to day. He was hit by a pitch by Elias back in inning number 2 and continued for the next 3-4 innings and then had to come out. Siriaco now the shortstop for Kansas City. Center field Jones. The Royals 1 run this afternoon. They trail by a single run 2-1 to Seattle going to the 8th.
Is here today as the Mariners lead 2-1. Panera takes us around the league, and Detroit, they now are rolling as the Royals are struggling. They blast Cleveland and sweep them. Minnesota, Ron Gardenhire's 69th career ejection, but his team is leading right now. Dodgers come here next. They're up 1-0 against San Diego. Padres fired their GM today. Texas and LA are tonight. Our Mazda game break takes us to another Edwin Encarnacion home run. This is in Cincinnati against the team that originally signed him as a youngster, and Encarnacion goes deep. That was the good news for the Blue Jays. The bad news was that Brett Lawrie got hit by a pitch left with a fractured right index finger. Jose Bautista left the game with tightness in his leg, an MRI scheduled for Monday. So the good and the bad for the Blue Jays here. A new pitcher for the Royals as the lefty Francisco Bueno is on the hill. Fizz?
He has a 1.93 ERA, Joel, in 6 games this year. Activated on June 1st after 50 games in the DL due to a contusion and sprain of the left little finger. And Bueno will face Robinson Cano to lead things off, then another left-handed batter in Logan Morrison, and another lefty in Kyle Seager.
Fastball slider change.
Cano with a good rip, 1 ball, 1 strike. Royals have been in every single game the last 4, but they have lost by 1 in Detroit, by 2 on Friday night. Painful loss in the 9th inning on Friday and Saturday. Lost 2-1 last night. Cano went after that sweeping slurve, and it's a 1-2 count. It's almost like the Royals caught the Mariners at the wrong time.
It's just baseball, Fizz, and sometimes it's frustrating. You just have to ride it out.
He dropped down sidearm and tried to go away, and Cano fouled it back. 1-2. He went. How about that? Cano can't believe it, but the third base umpire said he went. Scott Barry, and Cano wants an explanation because he thought he was trying to get out of the way. He went around.
And that's the umpire's discretion. Sometimes the guy's trying to get out of the way of a pitch and he's fallen off big time, but that wasn't enough to get that done. That was close.
Here is Logan Morrison. Check swing, strike 1.
Bueno has been extremely reliable. Doesn't come in all the time, but he's a left-handed specialist. With the next lefty Seager on deck, a lefty. See him drop down sidearm, makes it more difficult.
And he does again, and it's hit sharply, but right to Danny Valencia. He throws him out.
You'd think that he'd learned putting his hand out there barehanded to try to stop that. He won on the DL earlier this year when a ball clipped off his finger, and it was a pinky finger. And that play there, after the pitch, the ball was hit, he stuck his hand out.
Rex, it's also very tough to pitch as infrequently as he does. He last pitched a week ago at Chicago, opening the 7th inning by recording 2 outs.
But here's a guy who's a big time professional. He understands his role, and he's going to wait when he's called, but he's pitching for his life, and he shows it every time out there. He is in control, under control, and in command, and executes down in the strike zone for the most part.
Another sidearm breaker, this time rests inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's extremely difficult for timing in big league games when you don't pitch that often. It's like a hitter coming off the bench.
He's 33 years of age. Signed by Atlanta, then to Kansas City. Another side armor that's flipped in the air left field. Alex Gordon there, and a bueno job by Francisli. Royals offense needs to bark. It's Miller time, and it's bark at the park. 516 dogs here at the K today, having fun on the field. A little warm, but they're having a blast, and they're hoping that the team in royal blue can come back and win this game. They've lost the first 2 games of this series by scores of 7-5 and 2-1.
Well, it is a Dog's Day afternoon. There's no doubt about that. Now, on hot days like this, nothing better than a nice cold ammonia towel, and that's what happens. They like to ice them, put them in a big jug, put a little ammonia in there, mix it all together. Smells refreshing, feels good, helps bring you back to life.
And then, of course, after the game, a Miller Lite.
That's exactly right. But before that, we must congratulate the Mac and Sites Royals, who have won back-to-back state titles up in Platte City. That's right, Platte City. They beat the Monarchs 5-3.
How'd your son do?
Way to go, baby Royals. They won. Doesn't matter how he did.
Now there is no I in team.
Woohoo!
But there is an M and an E. Here is Omar Infante to lead off the bottom of the 8th inning, followed by Hosmer and then Butler. Royals have been controlled by Seattle pitching throughout this series. Their only big innings were on Friday in the 5th and the 6th, when they scored 5 runs to tie it, roaring back from a 5-0 deficit, only to lose 7-5 in the top of the 9th.
There you go.
There's a shot in the gap. Jones won't get there. He'll try and hold Infante to 1. He does. A nice throw as he was able to get to that gap.
Didn't quite have enough on it to skip through so we could get to second base, which was unfortunate. But Lloyd McClendon, he's not going to take a chance. He's going to the left-hander with Hosmer coming up. There's a fastball down the middle that, of course, he rarely misses. Ready for that pitch.
So we will see a pitching change here at the K, with the Royals getting the tying run on with nobody out. And Charlie Furbush, who did a terrific job on Friday in the Mariners 7-5 victory. We'll see him when we come back. Run on, and Seattle is countered with Eric Hosmer coming up to the plate, a left-handed batter. They're bringing on Charlie Furbush, a left-hander who was awfully strong in Friday's win. In the 8th inning, with the bases loaded, Hud, 1 out, he got Moustakas to pop up, struck out Escobar, and he really looked sharp.
Yeah, he's very tough to hit. He's coming in, but you know, you've got to be able in this situation to beat teams this late in the game by picking out a certain pitch, and that's been a difficult situation for Hosmer. Hosmer coming in, hitting just .237 against left-handers this year. They really need a big hit here. He's been aggressive, swinging out of the zone because he's trying too hard. He realizes that he's been 3 for his last 25, so he's trying to swing his way out. First pitch is usually off a guy like this that has a big curve is his fastball, so be ready for that first one.
Hosmer is and lines out.
Tough luck there, but he was ready for it. That's good because he's going to come back with those big old breaking balls. Couldn't quite get it elevated, and again, during this last 3 games, now 4, they're not getting the breaks.
Well, they're going to mix and match. They had a right-hander warming up for Billy Butler after the lefty Furbush threw 1 pitch, got 1 out. Now they will match up Billy with a right-hander. Royals scratching for runs. They have had a tough time since that 10-game win streak, only scoring a total of 8 runs in 4 games. We'll see Danny Farquhar when we come back. rally from a 2-1 deficit to salvage the final game of this series. They have a man on with one out. The new pitcher is Danny Farquhar, and he was the guy who actually got Seattle into a mess in the 8th inning, giving up a hit to Butler, a hit to Gordon, and one out later an intentional walk to Kane. Then they brought in Charlie Furbush to get him out of trouble. So we're hoping that Billy Butler can get to him.
Well, he's got to hunt his pitch. Something out over. You know, pitchers, they make mistakes. This late in the game, you can't miss him. Furbush, 88-93 with a cut fastball and a slurvy breaking ball. It's a combination between a slider and a curve and a changeup. Excuse me. It's Farquhar. Same thing. 88. Well, he throws a little harder. 95. Got a good slider. Cutter.
And he was touched up for a 3 spot in 1 innings against the Texas Rangers. Doesn't give up many home runs. He gave up his last on June 14th, and he just balked Infante into scoring position.
There's a break. Lloyd McClendon, he wants an explanation. Home plate umpire just looking at him, shaking his head. Wow, that changes everything here. Lousy single could do the job.
How about a big fly? How about a Billy Butler blast? Ball 1.
Farquhar has pretty good fastball. He'll touch 95 with it. A little cut slider and a little bit of a curveball once in a while. He'll drop it in there, trying to get ahead of Billy.
He has allowed only 4 home runs in his career. The last was against the Texas Rangers catcher Chirinos, and that came back on June 14th. 4 home runs in 77 games.
Billy's 6 for his last 10 with runners in scoring position.
And he hits that one sharply, but right to the second baseman, just like Hosmer. Back-to-back ropes, back-to-back to the second baseman.
And just as Bloomquist was moving back into position, he was holding Infante close, and on the delivery, Willie moved right over into position, right where that line drive was. Had he stayed where he was, that would have got by him.
1 week ago, the Royals were getting all the breaks. Now they're getting none of them. They have to make their break. McClendon comes out.
Wearing a path to the mound with matchups. Made McClendon a little bit nervous as he saw Alex Gordon stepping in. Farquhar has a .222 average against left-handed batters with no home runs. Lefties are just 12 for 54, so that's why he's leaving him in there. He's trusting his right-hander.
They only had a right-hander warming down in the Seattle pen. No lefty was ready, and that man would have been Joe Beimel. Gordon leads the team with 9 home runs. He is 1 for 3 today. Strike 1. Alex hitting .383 with runners in scoring position.
Farquhar is another one of those 5'9", 185-pound pitchers, not big in stature, but a big arm.
0-2. Wow. After the conversation with McClendon, he straightened things out, strikes out Gordon. The Royals are done in the 8th, trailing 2-1 going to the 9th. 1-1 in the 7th inning, and their ram drive of the game. He absolutely crushed one to deep left field over the State Farm and Sonic sign, and that broke the 1-1 tie and gave them a 2-1 lead. They won on Friday 7-5, won yesterday 2-1, leading 2-1 as Aaron Crow comes in. 3-1 record, 2.78 earned run average. It will be Zunino again, Ackley, and then Miller. The Royals in the bottom of the 9th will have Perez, Valencia's spot. We also have Mike Moustakas available. I'm expecting him to be out there for Fernando Rodney, and then Justin Maxwell.
Crow, good fastball with a little bit of late life to it, and a nice slider. Going to have to keep that ball down and away, especially from this powerful catcher who hit his 9th earlier.
And that already is 4 more than he had all last year. So he's growing up quickly, only 23 years old, out of the state of Florida. First round pick, 3rd overall back in 2009. Led the University of Florida to 3 consecutive College World Series. Won the Golden Spikes Award, the Johnny Bench Award as the top catcher in the nation. And he pops this one up. Foul territory. Hosmer over, reaches in, needed a longer arm.
Great work getting out of the way by our cameraman. That's Eric Zorn just missing, taking home a little souvenir. Glad it didn't hit him. Way to go, Eric. That's not a good parting gift for today.
Crow strikes him out. Foul tip into the glove of Perez. Giordano Ventura was outstanding in his 7 innings of work. Then Bueno, and now Crow trying to keep it at 2-1. Gets the breaking ball across, and Zunino with the strikeout. So Dustin Ackley will come up. Right side, Infante. 2 out.
Speaking of parting gifts, they need to give this guy one. Faced him in both games of this series, and it's looking like they're going to face him again. Won't be easy. Mariners getting all the bounces. Royals, not so much. All of a sudden, the tide has turned. They're going to have to make their own breaks.
And a base hit back up the middle by Brad Miller, his 2nd hit of the day. During this 7-game hit streak, he's been practically hitting .500.
Yep, getting his average up over the Mendoza line. That's what the Royals will need to get back and tie this thing up at least. Guy's got to be a little toasty in that outfit today. I like it though.
Willie Bloomquist has doubled twice in today's game, both to right field. Then he tried to sacrifice, and Ventura made a nice play on him as he tried to sacrifice runners that were at first and second to second and third. But Ventura grabbed the baseball, twirled, and fired a strike to Valencia at third to get the out. Andy Chavez then flied to left, and James Jones grounded out. The rest of that threat was over, but Zunino had hit the home run in that seventh to start it. And we're still there at 2-1. Well, if the Royals thought they saw great pitching the last couple of days with Iwakuma and Young, Elias today, now they'll face Greinke and Kershaw and Herron. They were able to blast two great pitchers in Verlander and Scherzer earlier this week, Monday and Tuesday in Detroit. Foul, 2-1. Bloomquist, a veteran, now in his 11th big league season. At the age of 36, he grew up in the Pacific Northwest, right around the Seattle area. Played his college baseball at Arizona State. And Rex, when it's all said and done, I can see Willie coaching in the game.
Oh, he'll be fabulous if he decides to go that route.
Royals throw behind. They got him at first base. Miller is out.
There he is again. Miller not listening to Van Slyke. I'm sure Andy told him, be careful with that secondary lead. Hosmer, great hands. Tremendous work. Gold to gold. Out.
It has been close every game of this series, and every game they've had a chance to pull it out in the ninth. They have yet to do so. Whatever happens, Jeff Montgomery will be breaking it down on Boulevard Royals Live from Rivals. We'll talk about the performance of Yordano Ventura. For the second straight day, the Royals get a starting pitcher giving up 2 runs, but can they come back and stay within a game and a half of Detroit? That, the offensive struggles, reaction, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Fizz, to this point, the Royals have been outscored in this series 11-7.
And we told you that they had averaged 7 runs per game during that 10-game win streak, and they were facing excellent pitching, Verlander and Scherzer, and knocking them out. And then all of a sudden the Royals came up empty offensively. They've scored only 8 runs in their last 4 games, but They have one more chance in this one. That means Salvador Perez, and then we're expecting Mike Moustakas to come up. But right now, Danny Valencia is in the on-deck circle, and we were expecting Moose simply because left-handers batting .306.
With one homer. Righty's only hitting 152. Now, if there's such a thing as momentum in baseball, too, and they're just coming off of a great pickoff by Salvador Perez that picked off Miller, and that gave them some momentum coming in, and they'll need it. Look at Miller. Miller's way too far off. Hosmer was able to apply the perfect throw by Salvi. Gold to gold. They're going to put that ball right where Hosmer can make the tag. Got him out. Let's see what they can do. Fastball. Mid-90s. He'll go a little higher than that. Few sliders. And his best pitch is his changeup.
Salvador strokes it foul. Strike one. Perez 1 for 5 against Fernando Rodney. The Royals have seen him the previous 2 games, and he was able to nail down saves in each. He now has 20 on the year. He struck out 34 and 29 in the 3rd innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Salvi rolls it towards 3rd. Seager bare hands and throws and got him. 1 out.
Seager's one of the best in the league on that play. Great barehander. We saw him make a play. I think it was in last night's game or yesterday's game, or in the game 1. I'm not sure, but he came in on a play. Ball hopped right up to him. Good focus. Throws all in one motion. Not working.
Well, the Royals will have Gerard Dyson go up, and then likely Mike Moustakas. Yes, Mike has just come out of the dugout, and he is on the on-deck circle, so they'd love to get speed on first before Moose's power potential. And as Rex told you, left-handers batting 150 points higher than right-handers.
So the infielders are well aware of Dyson's speed. Stay on top of the ball.
One ball, 1 strike. Seager very tight at 3rd, just about 5 feet off the line.
Dyson.
Morrison the same at 1st.
Dyson got it going off Rodney in yesterday's game. Uh-oh.
And that is rolled to Seager, who flips in time, and 2 outs.
If Rodney throws that changeup that floats over the middle of the plate, that might be the ball Moose can get to. He also, it's possible he can get to one of those fastballs, but that changeup sometimes will lay out over the middle of the plate, and it's good hitting speed. Moose 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter off of Ned's bench this year.
He does have that power potential with 8 home runs this year, and 4 of them have come since he returned from AAA. Three infielders in the right side, 1 on the left near 3rd. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cracked up the middle. A base hit. Still life for Kansas City as Moustakas gets a single to left center.
Great swing. Under control. That fastball right down the middle. Short to the ball. It's a good sign for Moose. Maybe he can bottle some of that up for tomorrow.
Now Pedro Siriaco. He is hitting for Escobar. This is the second time he's hit for Esky, when Esky was taken out middle of the game because of a left shin contusion. The first pitch he swings and misses. Strike one.
Changeup, he's guessing fastball.
Siriaco, a .277 hitter in his career with 4 home runs.
Wouldn't he like to make up for yesterday's play with a big hit here?
He is down in the count, 0-2. And as Rex told you, right-handers only batting .152. Just in case Greg Holland is ready. But the Royals down to their final strike, and Rodney has the options on 0-2. Didn't have to throw him a strike, and the game is over, and Seattle has their first sweep in Kansas City since May of 2007. The Royals have lost 4 in a row since their 10-game win streak, and now trail Detroit by 2.5 games in the Central.
Gotta hold on. They have to pick up some clutch hits.